Face front, you believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize Podcast. I am your host, Chris A. Boingo Rider Gaston, and with me, as always, in the bullpen.
The Vacuuminator, representing the distinguished competition.
Yo, 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 yo.
Yo.
Shinderu. I don't fucking remember the whole line. I was gonna do the thing from Fist of the North Star, but I don't remember it.
That's unfortunate.
Ome wa shinderu.
Uh, Koichi na watashi desu.
You don't know the thing? Ore wa,
What?
ome wa no it's like,
I have never even seen Fist of the North Star.
it's basically like, you're already dead, and the person goes like, what? And then they die.
Oh, sick.
Nani?
I think I've seen that trope before, at least. I don't know if I've seen that particular instance of it.
But hey, oi. You wanna fucking go? You wanna fucking go, Buster? You wanna fucking go calling those fucking weebs? Why you gonna go fucking tell the truth, mate? Why you fucking going
Buster,
tell the
this is
truth,
your
mate?
one and
Why
only
you gonna fucking
warning.
tell
Your
the
one and
truth, mate?
only warning, Buster. You insult us again, I'm putting you in timeout.
But we got a thing to talk about. We have a certain cinematic uh, piece to talk about this week.
We'll do it. Is that a thing we have?
Yeah, we have it. We do because I finally saw Eternals. Whoa,
Sick. He
um,
did it.
I
He
did.
caught up to the thing he's into in the first place.
It's fucking hard to do when you don't have a car or money.
Yeah, you should probably work on that or something.
Fucking I am every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm kidding. No, you stream because you want to stream, which I do, not because you want to make money.
So I'm just going to start right off by saying my favorite thing about the movie is that Icarus literally has the same fighting style that Comic Pop always jokes Superman has. He just flies around and goes.
Yeah, no, that's great.
It was
Um,
hilarious. It was hilarious for that whole first scene where he shows up. I was just giggling in my seat like an idiot.
um, realistically, all he needed to be was a head, and he'd be just as efficient. In fact, he'd be even more efficient if he was only a head.
Yeah, because then his dick wouldn't have distracted him.
Oof.
That's
Oof.
literally what happens, though. The entire downfall of the Eternals and Erishem's master plan is that Eternals gets hard for Cersei. God damn.
What's up, Drake? We're talking. I finally saw Eternals. We're gonna talk about it because I personally really do enjoy the Eternals in the comics.
I knew of the Eternals in the comics. I know stuff about Eternals as a concept. This is my first time experiencing any Eternal story whatsoever, though.
Yeah. This is what I would want from an Eternals movie. It was moody, it was character driven, it wasn't big bombast action, it was mostly conversations.
Hmm. And when the powers were used, they were rarely made out to be a huge spectacle.
Hmm.
Like there's that first time you see Icarus, and there's the first time you see Druig in the present, I'd say.
But
Everything else is very very bland. The way Cersei uses her powers a lot is very just incidental. Except
yeah.
for like that big moment when she beats the deviant.
Yeah. Um Also, by the way, we're just gonna talk spoilers. It's just easier to talk about an entire movie without having to separate it. Hello, Aki. Don't fucking
Hey, Aki.
flippity floppy. But no, this movie satisfied what I wanted from Eternals.
Yeah, I don't like. I get the consensus surrounding this because it's a much different kind of movie than anything Marvel has put out around it, but I don't agree with the consensus. I've seen a lot of people giving this a 6 out of 10. I'd say it's a 7, maybe an 8, depending on the day.
Because here's the thing, they were wanting a new Marvel movie, and they got a Marvel movie, but they're just people are starting to learn. Oh, wait a second, Marvel is a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. And Marvel has always been a lot. Marvel is like Bryan Danielson. There's always been different facets to them there. Y'all just haven't seen it until it was slapped in your face.
Yeah, like I can't wait for people for people to watch Blade when it comes out and go like, "Oh shit, Marvel's horror?
Hmm.
Yeah, Spider-Man's been right there the entire time. Why haven't you noticed?"
It's fucking hilarious because Sony has the opportunity to do that first with Morbius, and I saw a trailer for Morbius, the new one, for the first time when I went to see Venom a few weeks ago, and it literally just looks like the most generic mid 2000s we're making a superhero movie version of Morbius you could possibly make.
Fatigue and overdose, sure, but like fatigue of what? We hadn't had
It's
anything for
funny.
an entire year.
It's funny that you keep bringing up Fatigue Buster when, like, just at the beginning of this year with WandaVision, we were all talking about, oh, wasn't it so nice that the MCU took a break for a year? Now we're back to the action.
Yeah, it's a different flavor. And like that's the thing. People were expecting more chocolate, and now they have rum raisin, and it's just like, oh, I was expecting chocolate. It's like, no, it's different. We're an ice cream shop. You've just
This is
been,
more.
yeah. There's plenty of flavors to go around. Like,
Yeah, here's the sophisticated flavor for middle-aged folks. We're not giving you the baby flavor no more.
yeah,
Well, maybe we will again in December, but just be patient.
and like I have a feeling Fantastic Four is going to be like Ben and Jerry's. This is going to be fun and big and chunky, but also exploratory. Of going like, what if you put a whole ass Oreo in a fucking ice cream?
That sounds more like Cold Stone Creamery to me, but okay.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like we're going to be diving into more different things with Marvel because we've gone through all of the popcorn stuff.
Good question. Have you ever actually eaten at a Cold Stone Creamery?
Yes.
Okay, because I haven't, and I always feel like I'm missing something, but I also don't know if I want to find what I've missed. There's nowhere else to go with that topic.
Yeah.
I just had that in my
Here's the
head.
thing. It hasn't been overloaded. It hasn't been I don't think it's been overloaded because here's the thing. If it was released like Netflix all at once, it would feel a lot more spread out. But because the MCU's releasing their shows week by week, the cultural zeitgeist that's talking about them for longer periods of time, so you're just hearing it for longer.
What is this? Modular components? Can we please talk about the actual stuff that happened in this movie?
Yes, all the characters are cool. I dug all
Mm-hmm.
of them. Festus is great.
Yeah, Festus is solid.
I'm just
I
going
didn't.
from left to right on the image so we can.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Festus is great.
Yeah, Festus is a good boy. I like that they tied his whole thing into the bombing of Nagasaki because that's a historical moment I'm always hugely interested in. Or no, it was Hiroshima he was
Yeah, yeah,
at.
yeah. It was from
Uh
Hiroshima.
um and anyone having a gay panic over that scene is a fucking little baby, including Disney who cut that scene out in some international markets.
Here's the like that's capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing. Like I can understand saying the MCU is a little bit of the same shit because they've been making the same like all the movies they've been making is the Earth-based hero stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Fino was really interesting.
oh
I
yeah,
dug the concept of Mad Weary. It's not something I've ever seen in a piece of fiction about immortal beings, but I'm sure it's based off of something. But like I really dug it. I was like, oh yeah, that's neat. Why haven't I seen that before? That would be a thing if you were alive for thousands and thousands of years.
and that is a thing from the comics.
Okay.
That is a thing from the comics, and just kind of a minor content warning, like not spoiler, like a more like serious content warning. That's often why a lot of like there's often mass eternal suicides in the comic
Hmm.
because that's a semi-regular thing because they can be revived. Yeah, it's the problem, It's the problem when several of your biggest markets are have anti-LGBT laws that you can't show stuff like that, you know.
Mm.
And when those are your biggest markets and that's where a lot of the cash is coming from, it is more beneficial profit-wise to lessen the artistic integrity to make that extra buck.
But Gilgamesh was just literally the kind of man I want to be.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
Gilgamesh is the
Gilgamesh.
best.
He's fucking buff as shit. He's an amazing cook and he takes care of his lady friend.
Mm-hmm. I also they use a
Also,
part.
he lives in the middle of nowhere and nobody fucks with him.
I mean, Athena fucks with him because sometimes she'll go off a little bit, but like,
But that's fucking with him he has planned into his life.
right,
That's
right.
okay.
I also just like how simple they kind of effectively showed his strength. It was really well
Hmm.
done. All their displays of power was really elegant, you know.
Oh yeah, that opening scene with Early Man was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And like it was very well choreographed with all the like different moves to activate different bits on all their things, you know.
Hmm. Like
I
Icarus flying around and going brrrr.
we'll probably talk more about Icarus, but like other than the sun thing, I think Icarus was pretty good from the comic. Like translating from the comics to this, it's good.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting, the big spoiler they did with him, because I was at first I was like, because I can't remember, I think it was Comic Pop did an Eternals episode way back when,
Mhm.
and they talked about Sprite being the traitor in that story. And I was like, I was going in expecting Sprite to do something traitory, and then they started hinting at Druig, and I think they were doing it intentionally to get suspicion off of Icarus. So I was suspecting Druig, and then so the Icarus reveal actually did really work on me.
And Druig is known as a bad guy in the comics. He is a bad guy. Shouldn't chat in the middle of the forest. Is something going wrong, Aki?
Aki, are you being chased by a serial killer at the moment? Hi, Drippy.
Yeah, fucking. That's what Marvel is Eternals. Like they've kind of retconned that most of Marvel is because of these guys and the Celestials.
Yeah. Uh, I really dig that Cersei is kind of the de facto main character. I wouldn't have expected that based on the marketing or what I know of them from the comics.
Yeah, it is Neil Gaiman's Eternals. He didn't remember, but I knew. But I didn't want to bog down the conversation.
I
But no, Cersei. It makes sense that Cersei's kind of the main character because she was an Avenger.
also like that she's the most innocent out of the group. Like they all seem like they have a fairly good handle on their jobs and stuff, and she's like the doctor. She's just in love with Earth, and she doesn't really care about explaining her powers. Like she gets lost in how to do it. I can turn this thing into a this thing, or this thing into this thing, or this. You can turn stuff into stuff, Cersei. That's all you need to say.
You have alchemy powers, transmutation. Uh, Ajax is a good matriarch of the group,
Yeah, she's okay.
but that's
Uh,
all she really needed to be.
but more than anyone else in the cast, she does feel like stunt casting to me.
And we have Angelina Jolie right there.
Yeah, it's weird. Angelina Jolie is actually like acting and shit, and then Selma Hayek. And I'm not saying this to disparage Selma Hayek. She's good in some stuff, but in this, she just feels like Selma Hayek is standing there getting a paycheck.
I mean, that's kind of what she's just there to look motherly and kind, and you don't really need to act hard for that. You just need to be motherly and kind, which Salma Hayek is at this point in her career, you know?
There were a couple of flashback scenes I really liked, like that one where Sprite is visiting with Ajax and she sends her to go live with Cersei.
I just walked for 2 hours, went to the forest, and ended up in a village. Are you playing Minecraft, Aki? Angelina Jolie is solid. Is good.
Yeah, like I literally forgot that was Angelina Jolie till halfway through the movie.
Yeah. Um, Sprite.
Sprite is great. I feel like she has the potential to be the breakout character of this movie. However, I also would be surprised if we never see her again, given what happens to her at the end of the movie.
Right, which is also a connection to the Neil Gaiman Eternals comic, which is nice. Druig is fascinating as a character in this.
Ruig might be the best boy. He's really interesting in how hard and fast he goes against everybody else's takes on how to handle humanity, and he has one of those villain. He like I could see him as a villain is the thing. You say he's a villain in the comics
Yeah.
sometimes, and I can really see it because he has the makings of one of those villains that's like, dude, you are doing fucked up shit, but I get why.
Yep. And then we have his romantic interest, Makari.
Yeah, Mercari is I wish she was in the movie just a little bit more, but I did
Mm-hmm.
like her.
Yeah, she was a bundle of joy. Is the best way to put
Hmm.
it. She was very optimistic and very innocent in a great way.
I love that they unintentionally made her hang still living in the ship a surprise because they never say it at any point in the movie. They just arrive at the ship and she's there with all that shit and she's like, "Oh, is it time to go home?"
And Kingo.
Kingo is another really solid, unconventional male character, I'd say, because like he borders on comedy relief, but he's also buff as hell, and he's clearly his own man, and he's got his own comedy relief with him, and he just seems like a solid guy who wants to do right by all his friends. And when his friend group starts falling apart, he's just like, you know what? Instead of picking sides, I'm just gonna leave and let y'all work it out.
Yeah, and like for stuff like this, it kind of fits with the ensemble and how the characters are. Especially because they are. Because I'm pretty sure Chloe's. God, what's her last name? I can't remember. It's Zhao. I can't remember her last name right now.
Zhao,
I don't know, and it's
the
not ringing a bell.
director.
Yeah, the director's known for doing ensemble family dramas in her previous work,
Hmm.
and I just realized Sprite is a young girl. What are we probably building up to?
Young Avengers.
Yep, yep, yep.
But Sprite doesn't have her powers anymore.
Zhao, thank you, Aki. Thank you, Aki, for googling that for us. Chloe Zhao. Um,
So I'm like wondering if they would find a way to give her back her powers without the immortality, or if
nothing
she would be
says
just a person.
nothing says she can't have her powers.
Oh, fucking Sprite, that's the joke. Sprite is younger than all of them, but she's the wise old mentor.
Yeah,
That would be great, actually.
like, but also I can kind of see her playing like a Loki character as the sarcastic. Y'all, all of you are being superheroes, and that's a little bit dumb. But I guess I'll help you out, Baka.
She, she calls fucking Kate Bishop cringe. You have a mentor? That's so lame.
God.
Oh god, that's the stupidest thing ever. I
Um.
hope it happens.
Yeah. But I think we need. Let's go back to Icarus for a little bit because he was.
He's a fascinating departure, I think.
Uh, uh Fair enough. Fair enough, Aki.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm just more saying like I can't Google shit right now, so you're my Google foo.
Excellent. Yeah, so as a comic book reader, how did you feel about the changes to Icarus?
Here's the thing: it doesn't feel like a change to Icarus because Icarus has always been steadfast, stoic, kind of a piece of marble kind of character, and so
He's
him
Scott Summers.
he, he's Scott Summers with without the comedy. He's Scott
Oh,
Summers without looking in the mirror and going like, "Wow, you are a piece of work."
yeah.
Okay, let me put it to you this way: Icarus
He's
is
Scott
Orion.
Summers. He's Scott Summers without the charisma.
Yeah, he's Icarus is Orion from DC without the violent streak.
I don't know about that because I see Orion as more of a try-hard character.
But here's the thing: like Kirby made Eternals right after Third World.
Oh yeah, Eternals was literally just leftover ideas from Third World that DC wouldn't let him publish.
Right. So like there is some parallels and similarities. Yeah, that's essentially what it is, Aki. It's not so much just changing the character, but actually going like, "Yo, this part of the character's a little bit fucked up." If we actually go through with this, because they've never really said what, like they haven't kind of ever really said why the Eternals are on Earth, other than kill the Deviants for a lot of the comics. Hey, Drippy is fine. You say, Drippy saying stupid stuff is par for the course, but like,
I'd just rather Drippy stay on topic for these streams.
yeah. But I love how. Okay, so here's the thing. In 616 continuity, there is no celestial egg in the Earth. That's not a thing.
Oh,
That's only a thing in Earth X.
well then, hmm,
That's
that's
what I'm
interesting.
saying. Like, they don't really dive into why the Eternals are there, and it's kind of like a lingering question for a lot of different runs of that kind of like longing of purpose.
Yeah, that's right. You were saying they're tying a bunch of concepts together here.
Yeah. But in Earth X, the Eternals are basically the immune system of the embryo, and the
Hmm.
Watcher keeps an eye on the egg. Here's the thing, like Eternals is exactly what it says on the tin. If you're not looking, if the tin doesn't look good, read a summary and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but yeah, that and weren't the deviants created by another celestial in the comics
Yeah, in the
too?
comic, the Eternals were made by Erisham, I think. I think that's still the right thing. But the Deviants were made by a completely different Eternal, and the Mutants were made by a completely different Eternal.
By the way, can we talk about how well the Celestials have been handled in the
Yeah,
MCU?
Celestials.
The slow ramping up of them from Guardians of the Galaxy all the way to this. Mm.
Oh man, it's so great. I also love how Celestial stuff looks like stone.
Yeah, and just the scale of them compared to other characters, and even when you're in the Mindscape and you could just make the Celestial the same size as the Eternal, no, it's still fucking huge and intimidating.
Yeah,
Like,
and yeah, Aki, the dead Celestial head on Earth is in the Jason Aaron's run, but I don't want them to do stuff from the Jason Aaron's run.
well, they might, but also I just think it's a cool visual
It
that
is a
has
cool
to be
visual.
it has to be consistent in the rest of the MCU now. I want that head to just be sticking out of the earth in some aerial shots
Yeah,
now.
and I do think it's probably taken visual cues from that Celestial body and the Avengers run, but also it's more like
Yeah, because
it's
that's not
more
what Tiamat looks like in the comics.
no.
Tiamat looks very different.
I mean,
And actually, the
Airship
Eternal,
looks. All the Celestials look different. They don't look like that.
yeah, and that was another thing I wanted to talk about.
Like
The Cel-
Airship's head in
the
the comics
Celest
looks like an air fryer.
Yeah, the Celestials in the comics look like generic Jack Kirby motherfuckers.
Yeah,
But do you know what the MCU Celestials remind me of?
Goldar from Power Rangers, the movie.
Dropped my mic. The Imperials from Ryan Parrott's current Power Rangers comic run.
I was close with the Power Rangers thing.
Yeah, no, they dead ass have that same kind of long paper thin like slit face aesthetic, and I'm sure it's been used somewhere else before. That's just the comparison I drew while watching this movie.
Here's the thing. I don't. if they do the Avengers team from the head as kind of like a cute, like we're taking things from the comic thing, I'm fine. But no, Jen Walters is not like Jen Walters is smart. She can be savage for a little bit, but return to status quo. Everybody else wants to return to status quo, Jason Aaron.
Mm.
Why is
No, she
Blade on the
needs.
Avengers, Jason?
Bro, calm down.
It's just, no.
I know.
It's just not.
Don't worry. It's over there. It's over
It's over
there.
there. But over here,
Yes. Uh, I think She-Hulk will be smart in her
oh
show,
yeah,
and
no.
I would love it if she gets a cameo in Deadpool 3 because she's the original fourth wall breaker.
Yeah, no, don't let it be the same team. You know what? If we're gonna do a new Avengers team,
I mean, it can't be
and
the same team. Robbie Reyes is already in the MCU.
no, he's not. He's in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, that's the joke.
All right, I'm being hailed. Entertain them for a bit.
Uh, Fuck. Why is it always me? Why is it always me that has to do this? Why do I always have to be the podcast saver, logistics manager, fun guy, fuckity parent man? Um,
You okay there, bud? What's going on? Why is back frozen?
fucking worked him.
All right, I gotta go do a thing. So actually entertain them and not be. Yeah, it's 12 a.m. here in Eagle Land.
In Eagle Land. Oh boy. Um, I'm trying to think of other things I can
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about with
no,
the.
we got to talk about Black Knight when I get back though.
I mean, I could start talking about it because, like, fuck, apparently everybody in the world knew about him except for me. The casting news was apparently a whole thing, and I just missed it. All through this movie, I'm like, oh, this Dane character is kind of cool. I like how he's kind of being the team's tie to humanity, or at least Cersei's. And then they said, and then when he says he has family shit he's working on at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, okay, he's someone. We'll see him again at some point. And then in the after credit scene, I was like, oh god damn it, he's the Black Knight. That's amazing. How did I not guess that? But yeah, I'm looking forward to him coming back in Multiverse of Madness. I don't think he ever said his last name though. I don't recall him doing it, Aki. Also, I didn't know Black Knight's real name from the comics. I literally found out about Black Knight when his Marvel Legend came out. I'm like, that's okay. That guy there was a literal knight on the Avengers. That's cool, I guess. I hope, I hope whenever he gets his fucking costume, because he'll get a costume in a future movie. He is literally just a dude in fucking scale mail and like what's that dress knights wear over armors with the big hangy down piece and like the crest on the chest? What is that called? What's the official name for that? I don't know. I don't know knight gear. All I know is I hope we get scale mail in the MCU again. Because Cap's Avengers 1 costume was great, and anybody who doesn't think it is weak. Yes, I know that didn't have scale mail. It's just that's the only suit design that reflects a suit that's supposed to have scale mail. But the voice that said, "Are you sure you're ready to do that?" That was Cumberbatch. That was Doctor Strange, Aki. So that fucking Dane is either in No Way Home or Multiverse of Madness or another Doctor Strange project that hasn't been announced yet. Just saying.
Hems. Howdy.
How did you like the Black Knight?
I thought
Boingo?
he was a fun character, and they teased him well enough.
Nice. Yeah, I like how he just seems like a normal everyman at the start, especially with him and Cersei having a relationship and us getting introduced to that with a scene that's literally just ripped from the Capaldi era of Doctor Who.
Yeah. But I love the way the Ebony Blade looked though.
Yeah, that was sick. Kind of reminded me of the Darksaber almost.
It looked a little bit like a ferro metal, like ferro fluid,
Hmm.
which was neat.
Of course, we have to talk about the real star of this whole project here, the new breakout character of the MCU. Pip the Troll is here,
Pip the
everybody,
motherfucking troll.
and he's voiced by Patton Oswalt. I was
Not just
marking out
voiced,
so hard.
motion captured by Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I hope
Um.
we get Pip Man in a future Avengers project.
Oh, here's the thing. I bet you dollars to donuts, Pip and Eros are showing up in Guardians 3.
Yeah. Oh my God, and Adam Warlock is going to be in that movie. Holy crap. I'm excited.
We're ending Guardians and starting the Infinity Watch.
Oh boy.
Mahershala.
Really?
We
I
probably got to
haven't
go
heard
back through
that.
the credits and find it out. But if it's Ali, then yeah, they're doing Midnight Suns. They're fucking doing Midnight Suns.
Oh my God. You fucking nerd. You're
Give
so
me
happy, and
Midnight Suns.
I'm happy for you as long as we eventually get to Gwenpool. That's the end goal of the MCU for me.
Trying to think how could we get to Gwenpool?
I mean, just have her be the end credits scene of Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
Now I gotta start thinking about who I'd want to play her. Shit.
Here's the thing though, Midnight Suns is such an iconic name though.
Fuck is MI13? I've never even heard
I
of
think it's
that.
another supernatural Marvel thing. I don't remember. Off the tip of my head. But in a variety of ways. Emma Stone is Gwenpool.
No. No. We need an actual we need a baby person, you know? We need an unknown to play Gwenpool.
Someone the same age as Tom.
Yeah, someone the same age or younger than Tom.
But no, like, oh yeah, Crow. We haven't talked about Crow.
That was interesting. I was very surprised that he got to talk and that he had like actual motivations to him. I thought he was just going to be a big scary monster mash, but also I found it a little bit off-putting that he wasn't just a big scary monster mash. I was like,
Yeah.
there's already a lot in this movie, dude. Why do you have to have a persecution complex?
Yeah. People, I always forget Blade's fucking British.
So do I. And I think pretty much everybody forgets Blade is British because of fucking Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. Here's the thing, he's not the comic book Crow, who is right now currently the leader of the Deviants, and is taking in eternal refugees because they just found out that whenever they get revived, they take a human life and they go like, "Yo, I don't want to kill people."
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting.
And that's partially why I go like, "Yo, Icarus was actually pretty accurate in this movie to the comics because he found out someone died and he was like, I am here to protect humanity." And like he is just stewing in that. He is furious at himself, even though he didn't know that was a thing. He was like, nah, I need to shoulder this forever. This is pain and torment that I have to live with.
How very Superman-esque.
Uh, I don't like. I can understand why people immediately make the joke of like, "Oh, he's evil Superman." It's like, yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, no, he's not evil.
But he's wearing blue and he flies around and has eye beams and he's the secret bad guy of the movie.
But he's
He's
not
he's
evil.
he's he's Marvel cashing in on the evil Superman trend.
But here's the thing: like, realistically, they really try to drive this point home. This isn't the battle of good and evil.
No, it's a difference of opinion.
It's like it is a difference of moral and value dealing with great cosmic eldritch abominations that we cannot even fathom the scope of which,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
So like to say that Icarus is evil or that he is uh text him to say that he's evil is kind of missing the point. It's the point is like this is weird big gangly blue and orange morality, you know.
That's that's a roughly accurate way to put it, Aki. It's a battle in a Texas family household about abortion.
Yeah, realistically, yeah. When you break it down like that, and it totally makes sense why Chloe would have fucking been drawn to this movie if you put it in that framing.
Hmm.
And it's also really interesting to see who kind of agrees with it because it's like to look who agrees and doesn't. The people who disagree are a white man and people who basically have like who would benefit from a conservative lifestyle because I'm pretty sure there is a large conservativeship in India of some form. You were giving me the side eye so hard.
I just don't know. I just don't know, dude.
I know it's. I'm kind of pulling this out of my ass. It's not really a theory. It's just more of like there's symbolism. You can make arguments. You know.
I mean, like, the fact of the matter is, I can see video essays about this being made.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like, I'm not the person who wants to make them.
Because I think the framing of it's more of like he is unsure, so he takes himself out of it. And he's like, whatever. I cannot make a decision on this. And Icarus is basically raised with a belief that no matter how hard the argument against it that belief is, it's still a belief that's ingrained in him that he feels like and we because it's also not just abortion, it's also like faith, it's belief, it's religion. It is Icarus being the last Christian of his family.
Oh God. Yeah.
When it comes to difficult topics. Okay, so is that like a more accurate? It's non-conform. Okay, neat. That's an aspect of it then.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, no. This is a story. Like everyone else is losing faith, and he's going like, guys, no, but God wants this to happen, right? And
This is what we're supposed to do.
when shown proof and evidence of like, nah, we don't have to follow that, it breaks him.
Hmm.
Um, though I do personally believe that we will probably see anybody who wants to return who died come back.
Hmm.
Like, you know, Angelina Jolie's still out in space. She'll probably come back. Drew, like anybody who like, because here's the thing: Eternals do have a revival system. They do have like a one-up system, whole thing.
Yeah.
So they can come back. Like there is precedent for them to come back. You know,
Fair enough.
and think about it like this: what if the sequel is all about Icarus reconciling all these emotions he's gone through, and it's a full-on redemption story as a sequel?
Mm. That could be interesting.
And here's the thing: I don't personally. If this is the only Eternals movie, yes, fine, cool, cool, cool. You set up a lot of cool things for other people to play with. You get to tell this really great, engrossing story about
The
weird
history of
cosmic morality with tinges of abortion and religion and all this family drama.
You got to do a lot of lore without directly having any other MCU, pre-established MCU characters show up.
Has been heavily rumored to be the Joker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. We were talking about that off mic the other night. It's all but confirmed,
I,
and I think it's solid casting.
yeah. I mean, if he's playing the Joker, I wouldn't mind that. Also, I don't think everybody had something like this, but I like how Druig and Icarus have unique accents. I couldn't quite place them when I was watching it, and I'll probably have to watch it again to really.
Icarus sounded distinctly Scottish to me.
I heard Irish, I think.
Hmm.
It was a,
Maybe I don't know because I'm both. I tend to get them mixed up a lot.
yeah, but he definitely had a more northern
Mhm.
English Isles, British Isles type
Yeah,
accent to him. And Druig, I cannot place for the life of me, but it doesn't sound like it's a fictional, made up, whoop-de-doo
that
actor
is
accent.
that is that is just how that guy sounds. I've seen clips of him in other things. That's just how he
Then wherever
sounds.
he's from, that accent really fit Druig, because it gives him. I don't want to say an accent makes someone feel off kilter, but when his accent is bouncing off of people with pretty standardized British and American accents, the way he places emphasis on words really
And he
shows an intense intensity on like saying the word itself.
he has this very slow, deliberate delivery of his lines that I do really enjoy.
Yeah, it's really good with all that. Um, I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Kingo.
I don't either. All I know is he it seemed like only him, the girl who played Makari, and the woman who played Cersei were willing to do any promotional material for this film. I haven't seen anyone else in any of the like, hey, we're the cast of Eternals type things.
They may be busy with other things.
Or no, I think the guy who played Gilgamesh was in one of those I saw.
Oh, Kamal Nanjiani, right? Fucking, I remember it started with a K.
Is he
Kamal,
a comedian or just a general actor?
comedian. He was a comedian.
Okay.
But he does do acting too. He wrote with his wife, The Big Hurt or The Big Sick. It's The Big Blank. It's one.
Okay.
Okay, that's the name of the movie, and it's
I
actually
know I know I had heard of him from something before and I thought it was being a comedian, but I hadn't actually seen anything he'd done before this movie. And he did a great job in this movie.
oh
Like
yeah.
I Kingo was one of the characters I got really engrossed in, especially because he's basically like a superstar version of Batman with his own fucking Alfred.
Thank you, Aki, The Big Sick. So he's done some dramatic work, and it's just nice to see him do some
Mhm.
cool big project like this.
Yeah.
Also, I just like I know it's not a big thing, but it's also really kind of cool to see a non-white person be showed of like, yo, this guy's a fucking sexy heartthrob.
Yeah. And he's a pampered rich guy who doesn't quite understand the seriousness of the situation until the end of the movie.
Like, I love how he's framed as like that, like he is a handsome ass motherfucker, because you
Hmm.
don't often get that in American media because it's so white focused because of bullshit.
Yeah, no, I'll admit the first thing I noticed about him was his goddamn fucking biceps. Dude really got into shape
Dude
for the
fucking
movie.
got into shape. Dude was sick in this. And he played the one character where he didn't have to be super buff because his powers are all like gun, like
His
shooty
power is
shooties.
literally doing this.
Yeah, no, like genuinely though, I love how all the hand movements of everybody was so distinct and so specific and choreographed. Meme in India because he acted in something that's equivalent to The Room. Is he a
That's
bad actor?
fascinating.
Is he a bad actor, or is it just like a bad role that he got into? Because I loved him in this. He was fun.
He was really charming, honestly. Like
Yeah.
for Marvel doesn't have the best track record when it comes to straight comedy relief characters, but he's one of the ones that I really enjoy. Like
Because it didn't,
he's up there with Louise for me.
because it didn't feel like straight comedy relief. It felt like a man. He's a great actor but bad role, so kind of like a Nicolas Cage situation,
Hmm.
or some Keanu Reeves and that. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool, cool. That's a nice thing about like Marvel kind of getting international with some of these superhero movies, that we get to see cool actors from other cultures that we might not be experienced with.
Hmm. It's also just cool to see Bollywood being portrayed very honestly in a mainstream movie because I don't see that too often. Normally, it's look how wacky Bollywood is, and
Yeah, no.
then this movie is just here's a Bollywood number played straight, and here's what the film set is like. It's very similar to the film sets we know here in America.
I also love Kingu just like, I gotta go help my family, but all of these people depend on me. Like, I love that aspect of it because you could go like,
I just
oh,
realized he's the fucking Rock.
yeah, but
Because
like,
that's a thing a lot of people talk about all the time. Wrestlers are always like, "Oh yeah, I have his number, but I like never text him because I don't want to take time out of his schedule. I know he has a lot of people who he's really doing stuff for."
I love how like they could have played it of like, oh, I don't want to leave my pampered fancy life, but he's like, no, I'm here. Like, if I'm not here, these guys are out of a job. These guys, the like, I love that. That was a nice, sweet, genuine moment of caring.
And it's made even better by the scene later on the plane when he says like, "Oh yeah, I'm my own grandfather and father." Like he's probably been employing those people and their families for as long as they've been alive.
Since probably before cinema was a thing,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
It's just it's nice. It's nice to see. Um, everybody genuinely was such a fun character to kind of be around. Even Icarus when he was not full zealot.
Yeah. And like I think Sprite was a very archetypical immortal character, but it was handled about as well as it could be without getting too sappy.
Yeah,
Like it never gets to Highlander levels of fucking this person I love is dying in a dramatic musical montage.
worshipped as God because they are popular and also to help so many people get to work in Mumbai, especially where unemployment is high. I mean, that sounds like a fair enough idea. Hopefully, it doesn't verge too much on celebrity worship. I I can't speak a ton about other film cultures other than the ones I'm familiar with. So
Thanks for helping out with all the factoids in the chat this week, Aki. Uh,
fucking shouts out to you.
yeah.
Um, no, it's just also genuinely the gay romance with Festos was really well done.
It was nice, it was simple, it was played about as no pun intended, but straight as you possibly could play it.
Yeah. Also, his family's fucking adorable.
Oh yeah. The scene when he's showing his when he's brushing his teeth with his kid. That's great.
Oh yeah, and just the way like everyone of the Eternals is just like, no, you're his aunt and uncles, and I'm gonna treat you like that.
But get the fuck out.
Yeah, but like, no,
Love
everything was.
that. I love that recurring little motif too. That everybody is like, "Oh no, we're friends from college."
Yeah,
Like, imagine if Sprite hadn't already been with the group at the start. What would they have said?
you're passionate about this movie and Hindi filmmaking. Unfortunately, all right, you gotta have your stuff, man.
Yeah, gotta have your interest. But I don't think there's too much else to say. I'm trying to think of
The
any.
landscape cinematography was gorgeous,
Oh yeah, this movie looks beautiful.
but
It's
I also imagine this
one of
was.
the best shot movies in the MCU, I'd say.
I think that's partially because they did get a really intense visual director.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who from everything I've seen of their movies is very focused on visuals and capturing that beauty of the natural world. You know?
Hmm.
Uh
Fucking Babylon was awesome.
yeah, and a lot of that was probably CG, but like they did it in a way that felt very real, you know?
Like, I never thought it was CG. You saying it makes me go like, yeah, that's probably right. But like, it looked like it was just a massive set they built out in the middle of the desert.
Oh yeah. It is in terms of cinematography styling, yeah, it is one of the best of the MCU. For my worth, there's a lot of like it's apples and oranges, but like there's other Marvel movies that go like I love the look.
Yeah.
They replicated. It wasn't CG. I'm thinking more of like the mats.
Hmm.
A lot of the mats of Babylon was probably some CG.
Fair enough. That the fucking Icarus and Circe's fuck spot was a real place at least. We can tell that.
Ah,
That's one of the most awkward, like lifeless sex scenes I've ever seen
and I
too.
think
And
it's
it makes sense that it is, but it was just like, what the? This feels awkward, but not in the way sex scenes normally feel awkward. What is going
it
on?
feels like people. It feels to put it best. It feels like a couple of robots who are starting to learn human emotion, trying to learn love.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Also, I like how they played the mental illness with Athena.
Yeah, felt like a really solid portrayal of PTSD
But
and
it's like, but it wasn't. It was
Alzheimer's
fantastic.
as well.
It was fantastical, but it wasn't. It was. It didn't downplay the idea of a mental illness, you know,
Hmm.
which was nice.
And it leads me to like so there's something I've been keeping in my back pocket. I didn't talk about it last night, and I haven't told it to you off mic because I've been waiting to get your reaction to this on a podcast. I had a brief, very angry reaction to Gilgamesh and Fina's character dynamic in this movie in the theater.
Uh huh.
Do you want to know the embarrassing reason why? I've had a pitch for a Supergirl book with a very similar relationship for her and another DC character that I don't want to say the name of in my head for literal years. And I saw this movie and I went, oh, god damn it, Jack Kirby thought of it first.
I mean, you can say that for most comics,
Yeah.
but no. Costuming was also great.
Yeah.
I like the Eternals costumes.
They literally look like Jack Kirby outfits. It's
They look
cool.
like Jack Kirby outfits through a layer of like antiquity.
I'm glad you got a kick out of that, Aki.
um, but also,
And it'll I'll fucking elaborate on it more when I get into comics this week because it ties into stuff and Tom Taylor did with John this week as well.
but I also love their civilian costumes, the regular people clothes.
Hmm.
They were nice, good fits.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's about it for the movie.
Yeah, not much else to say. It was really solid. I don't think it's upper tier MCU, but it's definitely not down in the doldrums. This isn't a 4-2 by any means of whatsoever.
It is an MCU movie that if this is your shit, it's your shit.
You know what? Let me put it this way. It's on par with Iron Man 2. And I
Well,
really like Iron Man 2.
yeah. Honestly, I don't mind. Iron Man 2 is not great, but I don't mind it. It's not bad. Iron Man 3 is the one I think people shit on just a little too much.
Yeah, everybody talks about like, oh, Iron Man 3 sucks because they did so much Avengers illusion in it. And I'm like, it just feels the most like a Marvel comic out of any of the movies.
Here's the thing about I would say about the saturation of the costumes. It like and that's tying into the antiquity. It feels like ancient dye.
Hmm.
Like that blue feels like the blue from like a fucking antique pot that some archaeologist found and is hanging up in a museum right now.
Yeah. No, it's solid. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Real good. Eternals dope shit. Hope to see any of these characters again. I understand that some of them don't.
Yeah.
Though that cliffhanger. that
That
fucking
cliffhanger.
cliffhanger.
That cliffhanger. Oh man.
Hey, by the way, you guys fucked us over.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my girlfriend?
Where's my husband?
Where's my girlfriend? Where's my husband? Where's
Uh,
our movie star?
Fuck. And then fucking the entire human race. First everybody's gone, then they all come back, and now fucking giant space gods exist.
God damn, imagine when fucking Galactus shows up. It's like, I'm here to eat your fucking planet.
Mm-hmm. See, the thing that makes
This shit again?
the thing that makes Galactus scary in the comics is that he's the first time Earth gets confronted by something like that. The thing that's going to make him scary in the MCU is it's the first time it's not a close call for Earth.
Galactus will be the first time it's directed at them.
Mm-hmm.
Because every
Not
other time it's just
incidental.
like incidental, right? So like
Mhm.
Galactus going like, hey, I am specifically eating your planet because I want to eat your planet. What? This isn't some weird cosmic everybody fucked us over? It's just you're just eating our planet. Just our planet.
Also, I just realized that's probably going to be an MCU change. Is There's something about eternal eggs that Galactus finds tasty.
I could you know what? That's
Or no,
Earth X. That's a
celestial eggs. God damn it.
Celestial. That's a thing in the comics though.
Yeah.
That's the thing in the comics, because that's what Galactus wanted to eat in Earth X. Read
you
Earth
go.
X, guys. It's not bad. It's good. It's good comic shit. It's not perfect. It's good.
It's not as good as Kingdom Come, but it's good.
Yeah, no. But here's the thing. That's not Marvel's Kingdom Come. Marvel's is.
Yeah. No. And Marvel's is fucking fantastic.
Oh,
I
Marvel.
love Marvel. I don't want Galactus should not be a celestial. He
No.
needs to be a separate entity.
Because, okay, comic book nerd shit, Galactus actually comes from the universe before the universe he lives in.
Mm-hmm. Galactus comes from the Raimi movies.
No, here's the thing.
That's how they get Galactus in the MCU. He shows up in No Way Home.
Um, because every universe has a Galactus in the comics. Not every multiverse universe, like every iteration of the universe. And someone from the previous universe becomes the eater of the world in the next universe.
Mm-hmm.
So Galactus from the previous universe comes the Galactus that we know. But there was an eater of the worlds in the previous universe from the universe before it. And so on and so forth.
They did, and that wasn't great. It made the movie better, but it wasn't a great change overall.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Galactus is such a weird entity. I think it'd be better not, especially because Galactus works really well with a partially human face. And if you remember, like, you're supposed to look at Galactus and see something that looks like you.
Mm-hmm. Also, I said my favorite thing about this movie was Icarus's fighting style. My second favorite thing about this movie, for the first time, the end credits just say, based on the Marvel Comics by Jack Kirby.
Well, because Eternals has always been just a Jack Kirby joint.
Mm-hmm. But there's no generic based on the Marvel Comics. Stan's name isn't in there. It's just we're just giving Jack his due.
I mean, they're probably going to do the same thing with Silver Surfer. That's always been the case with Surfer.
Yeah. Ooh, do you think Surfer will get a solo project after he inevitably first appears in an FF movie?
You know what I would love? A Disney Plus series.
That would be amazing.
And you know what I like? Dislike the writer for a lot of his other projects, but based it off the Dan Slott run.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of the classic Silver Surfer with a little bit of the Dan Slott run. Oh,
I would want it to be made by the same people who made the Netflix Lost in Space.
but we have talked about a lot of things. Do we want to dive into the next episode of Earth's Mightiest Heroes? I can't remember the name of it.
Living Legend.
Um, Fallout from the Hulk running away and breaking some ice. They find Captain America, and he's alive, and they thaw him out. It's the Captain America story.
It's the retelling of Cap's origin at joining the Avengers, and it's great. It's a really solid retelling with some fun continuity elements thrown in, building off and onto new things, and I really liked it. Like, fun fact, one of the first things I read when I was getting into current comics, Mark Waid's retelling of Cap's joining the Avengers, Captain America: Man Out of Time, a miniseries. So I've always had an attachment to and really liked that story. It might actually be my favorite Cap story.
I like how
So whenever I see it done in another thing, I'm always hype.
I like how this Steve was a lot more Adventure Man gung ho.
Yeah.
Like he was immediately like, "No, fuck! I need to run and figure this shit out."
Like
Not in
he's got that ennui for a minute, but he's able to pick himself back up.
Oh yeah, and here's the Aki. I don't think FF2 should be Future Foundation quite yet. I think
Wait till 3 or 4. You
Yeah.
can't kill Johnny off right away.
Yeah. But yeah, no, good episode, good animation. But since we talked so much about Eternals, do we just want to get to the toys and news?
Uh Trying to think if there's anything specific I want to mention about this episode. I did really enjoy Zemo in this episode. He's very different than MCU Zemo. He's much more comic book based, but I dig that. I also love that he literally looks exactly like the new Marvel Legends of him that just got announced. And the voices for him, Strucker, and oh god, what's his name? Chestface.
Fuck.
Zola.
Zola.
All their voices were just peak, and the inclusion of Black Panther was a wonderful surprise. I'm really looking forward to seeing more with him, and I like that they're building towards I'm guessing like a Thunderbolt style team of villains coming up.
Well, I mean, he does have an evil team first, and then they become Thunderbolts.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he becomes Captain Victory.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Captain Victory? No, Citizen V. Citizen Victory.
Yeah, Citizen V. Also, fucking like Four and Wasp being the ones that get along with Cap the best is really interesting, especially when Cap's like, "What the hell, What the and Four's just like, "Yeah, the building talks. It's weird. Go, let's keep going."
Yeah.
They did, and yeah, no, animation was really solid. There were some good fight scenes in this. I think the only thing where I like really noticed a dip in quality was the fight in the mansion with the wasp and the blob creature. I could really notice when they were doing like CGI backgrounds to make her look faster than she was.
Yeah. Though the blob was animated nice.
Yeah, that was good.
I love their fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Is this good?
But no, another great episode out of this show. There's not a whole lot. It's very consistent with EMH of like there's not a whole lot to dive into. It's just a very solid adaptation of a comic book concept. It's different from the DCAU in that way, I'd say, of like there's always a lot to go into with the DCAU of like well, this is a little bit of a change, but it's cooler, and this is kind of different, but it's neat, and this, that, and the other thing, and they're building towards this, and this is just kind of like I'm enjoying the ride. I don't feel the need to overanalyze this.
Yeah, fair enough. So, toys and other news. Let me get a
very little news this week. Once again, we're in that slow holiday period of just get the stuff on the shelves. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So first things first, we have some Hot Toys Spider-Man No Way Home Look, integrated 1/6 scale suit.
Yeah, it looks very, very good. I've not been super into this suit, but I do like the way it looks. Or like I like the way this figure looks, I should say. It's a very, very good adaptation of the suit.
Yeah, I just realized it kind of has the same patterns as the Ben Riley Spider-Man suit we have right now.
Mhm. Also, I don't know if we've seen that glider feature used before.
No, but it is a cool like take of the armpit webs.
Yeah, and like armpit webs is one of those things that I'm always happy to see. Uh, and man, did you see that new TV spot that came out today?
No.
Um, it's a little bit more of the bridge scene. Octavius says to Peter, "Oh, your fancy new suit isn't going to be enough to stop me." And then he sees the spider legs, and he looks at his arms, and he goes, "Looks like we've got competition."
That's cute.
Yeah. Um, but no, this looks like a very good figure because it's Hot Toys.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Do 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 do.
are you having fun?
No.
Oh well.
Gotham Knights action figures McFarlane toys revealed.
I keep forgetting that this game is a thing.
I think DC keeps forgetting that this game is a thing.
It was supposed to come out like last summer originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think then Avengers happened, and they were like, "Oh, maybe we should wait a minute."
And the pandemic happened and like all kinds of stuff. And yeah, these look like good representations of those designs, but I'm gonna be fully honest with you. I really don't like the aesthetic of the game.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
don't that Robin character design is garbage in my opinion.
That's a specific Robin, and I don't think it's that Robin because that looks like a good Damian Robin,
That's Tim Drake.
but it's Tim Drake. That's
Mhm.
not a Tim Drake Robin.
Although that being said, the one consistent thing about every like sub iteration of multiverse Todd has done so far, he is weirdly good at making Barbara Gordon figures.
It's good, Barb. I don't
Yeah.
mind the Nightwing. Nightwing looks good.
He's okay. His chest looks a little bit or his torso in general looks a little baggier than I'd like. It looks like he's wearing some kind of flak jacket.
But man, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles really look different now. I mean, Raph has that big weird head with no mouth.
Hmm.
Donnie's wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
Michelangelo's a girl now.
I mean, is that any better or worse than bringing in Venus de Milo again?
No, I was just making a joke because this feels super TMNT.
Yeah, it does look that way, doesn't it?
You got the smart one, the tough one, the leader, and other.
Hmm. Also, how much you want to bet everybody's going to have very similar control schemes except for Red Hood because he'll have guns?
Yeah, bunga bungies, boobity boosh, boobity bush bush bush.
Also, like, there wasn't an article up for it yet, but just today we got the full solicitations for all these figures and we got to see their accessory layouts. You can basically see everything in this teaser photo, except Red Hood comes with trigger finger hands, but no guns. Because Warner Brothers won't allow guns with their toys right now.
Are these in the same scale as other McFarlane toys?
Yeah, so you could theoretically use a gun from a Spawn toy.
At least there's a way,
Hmm.
you know?
It's just goofy.
It's Goofy Goober.
Mhm. And that's the toy news. That's all the news that's fit to print.
Yeah, it's not a ton of toy news, but hey, there was
That's the
some,
whole
and we're
that's the
gonna.
holiday season for you.
There was some, and we're gonna give it to you.
Oh
Like
boy.
boom, like bang bang boom boom, boop it
Yeah, and you and
bops.
you know it's all about the boom.
Adam Cole baby.
I was more so thinking of Budge, but okay.
All right, fucking talk about comic.
Fuck you, listen to MMWP.
Yeah. Give Red Hood Kingo's powers and problem solve. Yeah.
That's
You
totally
know.
something random guy would do.
Uh, let's talk about some comics.
Hell yeah. Good week for releases, I thought.
Yeah. So there was a special issue of. Oh God, headphones fell off because I was trying to itch my ear. Give me a moment of your time. Do you have the time to listen to me fart?
No.
There's a special issue of Spider-Man to kind of do some more
Oh,
things
I must have missed this.
With Misty Knight and Colleen Wang. And they go on a fun adventure.
Okay, cool.
Because basically they're setting up a training program for Ben. That's kind of basically it's just a danger room. It's just a hologramic danger room, and they're just trying to like train.
Neat.
And then they two go fight like this giant robot thing that's tearing up New York, and it interacts with the device that they were doing all the hologram stuff with. So it makes a big, dumb hologram thing in a little pocket dimension. They're like, okay, fuck, we have to fix it. Well, the program they made was what if Avengers but slasher villains?
Oh.
So they have to fight the Avengers but slasher villains? And then they go
Oh
like,
dear.
oh, wait a second. This interacted with the robot. The robot's the house. We're in a haunted house. And they run for it and they drop an antimatter grenade.
Mm-hmm.
And they find the battery that was causing all the problems. And they go back to their boss and goes like, yeah, no, there was nothing left. Antimatter grenade. Cameras are gone. And then the last page is just them handing the battery to Monica Rambeau.
Sick.
Because they're double agents. They're helping Monica while secretly being in the company.
Yeah, that reveal was in the last issue, I think.
I'm just more iterating for people to know. But it's a fun
Yeah.
Colleen Wang and Misty Knight story.
Yeah, I'm sad I missed it. I'll have to circle back around to that.
Yeah. But we both read Dark Ages.
I thought this issue was pretty solid, though my favorite thing in it is just the first scene, because yay, more Spider-Man and Luke Cage being dads together.
Oh, it's adorable. But it is continuing the story, but also looking at the events of how things like that would actually happen.
Mm-hmm. It's typical, like, realistic if you don't need these characters to constantly be coming back writing from Tom King that is both brilliant and heart-wrenching.
Because like they send Pietro out to scout this place, and he runs in and sees Magneto, and he is immediately caught because it's his fucking dad.
I gotta save Dad, and and Magneto was like, "Fucking no!" Because immediately they catch him.
And I was like, I love it. Part of me just goes like, I hope that's out of love and not out of, oh no, you fucked us over, you dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Sue and Johnny react the way they do about Reed.
Well, Johnny doesn't even get the chance to react.
Yeah.
Because fuck, that was the most brutal scene in this book so far.
Mm-hmm. But no, it's continuing the story as it's intended, as it's going.
Yeah,
It's good shit.
It's good solid shit. I get the feeling that this will binge read really well.
Yeah. Has there been any announcements of how many issues there's going to be? Is it 6?
Yeah, I think it is 6 issues. This is the midpoint.
Why isn't there a what if logo on this? It should have a what if logo.
I said Tom Taylor. Did I not say Tom Taylor?
You might have said Tom King.
I'm almost certain I said Tom Taylor, but if I said Tom King, I do apologize.
Apologize to Tom King right now on his huge chin.
All right, I'll tweet him.
Just say, hey, in a podcast, I said Tom King wrote Dark Ages and not you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just gonna text him, "I'm sorry," with no context.
Okay. But yeah, I don't think we have a super time more to talk about with that issue. So let's move on to the second one where you continue your gag.
The tweet has been sent.
Hey, tell me about Supergirl.
This issue of Supergirl was really interesting because this is the first issue, like, the series so far has very much been about Kara, but through Ruth's eyes, which, by the way, it's Ruth, not Ruthie. I've been saying Ruthie this whole time. I don't know
Ruthie-O,
why.
Ruthie-O, Ruthie-O, Ruthie-O.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I'm just stupid and maybe slightly dyslexic. I don't know, but her name is Ruth. This issue is actually about Ruth because at the start of this, they get to Krem of the White Hills. They actually find him at the start of the issue, and it's for like 2 pages because he has a fucking MacGuffin on him that just fucking black holes Supergirl and Ruth to a what I'm guessing is supposed to be a homage to the Silver Age because I checked, it's not a thing that's existed in continuity before, but it's a very Silver Age type plot of it's a planet that was designed specifically to kill Superman. Um, and like there's literally a point where Kara is like, it's called Barrington. They built it for Cal, for my cousin, Superman, to trap him. A green sun, kryptonite, a world of monsters. God, people fucking hate Cal. And that's basically the plot of the book is it is a planet with a green kryptonite sun, and so Kara is basically sick and in pain and can't fly away until the sun goes down, and it's a 64-hour day.
Oof.
Yeah. So they basically spend a couple pages trying to find shelter, and then when they finally find a decent place for Kara to just lay down and ride it out, Ruth has to fend off all these fucking space dinosaurs and shit that keep coming and trying to eat them. Except for one time when she almost gets eaten, but Kara wakes up just in time to fucking heat vision a pterodactyl to death, and she goes, "Hey, was that's it's a fucking bird. No, it's a plane, or it's super." And she passes out again.
Oh, that's cute.
hmm Um, and it's just a really solid issue. That honestly like kind of reminded me of the moment in the sixth Harry Potter book when Dumbledore and Harry go to like that lake with the water Dumbledore has to drink, and it's like he can't stop drinking it or the spell will be redone, and he's like begging Harry for it because at one point, Kara wakes up and she's like, "I need to go get water. I need to go get water." And Rufus like, "If you go down there, the fucking monsters will find us and kill us. You are not moving from this spot." Um,
The minor correction: the water was torture for Dumbledore, and he
yeah,
told Perry to not let him stop, even if he begged.
yeah, that's right. Haven't seen that. I haven't read that book or seen that movie in quite a bit, but um, Kara does eventually get her powers when the sun goes down, wakes up, and they take off again. It's very much like a bottle episode, but I dug it quite a bit because it let Ruth take charge for a little bit, and I wasn't expecting that to happen, at least not until the end of the series.
I like Ruth's pants
Yeah, she does have
on
good
that
pants.
cover.
I think that's the outfit she's wearing for the book because she's wearing like a spacesuit, a hat, because she's literally just riding on Kara's back through space in parts of the book. That's how they're going from planet to planet now that they're in a yellow sun galaxy.
Cute. Has Supergirl had thigh high boots before?
Oh yeah, that's been a thing since Rebirth.
Okay,
That's just her Rebirth design. And
because
quite frankly, it's the best Supergirl design there's been, in my opinion.
there's a little bit of weebery there. It's like the absolute territory, you know.
hmm And it was literally just what's his name? I think Brandon Fletcher, the guy who did the Batgirl, the Barbara Gordon Batgirl redesign everybody liked, the Burnside suit.
Mm-hmm.
When they were getting stuff together for Rebirth, they literally went to him and said, "Hey, you want to do a Supergirl costume because the new 52 suit is trash." And he went, "Just put her in the suit they have on the show. That's a great costume." And they were like, "Well, we're not going to do the stockings, but okay."
She has stockings in the show.
More like what's the word for like the full pants kind of stockings, like leggings, is
Yeah,
it?
tights.
Yeah. Yeah, tights. She's wearing tights if you look at that the first costume, because now it's a full body costume with pants in the later seasons.
Hey, Aki, you're joining back on that train, eh?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've never been into Thigh Highs, but that is my favorite Supergirl
I
design,
mean,
so
it's
I guess I'm
very
de
anime
facto
girl.
into it.
I'm just like there's a lot of
Yeah.
anime girl in that, you know.
And it also just felt like such a breath of fresh air after the garbage New 52 costume, which is so frustrating for me because like this is completely off topic. Fuck it. The 52 costume is like I really like the concept of having Supergirl's costume be a one-piece swimsuit with sleeves when she first gets to Earth. That makes sense as like weird alien wear. But then there's all the lines on it and like the weird diaper that's supposed to evoke the skirt, and she's wearing boots that go up to her knees but don't cover her knees. Like what the fuck are you doing?
How do you feel about was it white t-shirt, short shorts? Was that the Supergirl costume?
I think that's a fan design that's been around for a few years,
She
but
was in that in Justice League Unlimited.
that's white t-shirt's mini
It is a
skirt.
mini skirt. Okay, I couldn't remember if it
Yeah.
was a mini skirt or short shorts.
Yeah, it's like a really tight, almost latex looking mini skirt. I'm personally okay with it. It's not one of my favorites, but I do get why other people don't like it. And like, I mean, it's the first Supergirl costume I ever saw, so I kind of de facto like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, tell me about Nightwing Fear State, issue 86.
Yeah, this was a pretty solid issue. This is Nightwing more so getting back into its own story. It literally picks up where the last issue left off instead of having a weird jump like the last issue did between issues. How many times can you say issues on this fucking podcast? I don't
I don't
know.
know. We have issues.
But I really like the opening because it literally, like I said, it picks up right where the last issue left off with the clock tower exploding and them thinking that Cass and Steph are in there, and the narration is and the narration and the art both do this thing evoking the Grayson's death. Like Dick is going, it feels like I'm watching my parents fall again. And they all run to the side of the building and they start digging for the rubble and screaming for Cass and Steph. And then all of a sudden, Steph comes on the radio, and Barbara's like, "Don't worry, we're coming, we're coming." And they're like, "Well, we're across town, so it's gonna take you a minute." It was literally, I called it. There was a video projection of them in the clock tower. They left hours ago.
Okay.
Um, and so they all meet back up. There's big hugs and everything. Cass and Steph find out that Dick and Barbara are dating again, and Barbara's like, "Can we please focus on the mission?" And Cass is like, "Yeah, sure, but was it a good kiss?" And she's like, "It was a very good kiss." Great. Um,
That's cute sisterly teasing.
yeah. And so they stormtrooper disguise their way into the sky bases that the Fear State people have in order to try and take out I forget the character's name, but the new villain who's taking control of Oracle's tech. Um, and they figure out that she's not there after letting loose some hostages and getting into the command center, but they're able to disperse the virus nonetheless. And the issue ends with Barbara and Dick watching the ship crash into the Gotham Bay while dipping their feet into it as well, and just kind of discussing how like okay, this villain is still out there, but they're defeated for now, so I guess that's good enough. And Nightwing's got to head back to Bloodhaven now. But oh, end of the issue sting. The Oracle impersonator is still out there, and that plot thread is going to be picked up in Batgirls next month.
Neat.
Yeah, fairly solid issue, I thought.
That's good. Hey, tell me about fucking Wonder Woman.
So, I think I've discussed once or twice before on this podcast. I'm not the biggest Wonder Woman fan. I don't dislike her. It's just the most I've ever been exposed to her is the DCAU.
You never
I
had
don't.
a, you never dive you never had a chance to dive into her.
And like I always hear like, oh, the current Wonder Woman run is really good from Wonder Woman fans every couple of years, and I'm like, great, where does it start? This random issue that was 4 months ago already. You got to catch up. And it's also kind of steeped in this continuity from a run that was 10 years ago. And I'm like, so this is just X-Men then. Okay. Especially because Wonder Woman has a lot of villains that don't interact with the rest of the DC universe. Because big thing about Wonder Woman I've absorbed through osmosis, she cures her villains, and more often than not, they stay cured. Uh, fucking Silver Swan. You ever hear of Silver Swan before?
No.
She's in the start of this issue holding some kids hostage at a history museum talking about like how important evolution is and how Wonder Woman is bad for the world because she's keeping the status quo and evolution. She's basically girl Vandal Savage with angel wings. Um and Wonder Woman quickly dispatches her and hands her over to the cops after saving a little girl. And then the whole rest of the issue is just her and Clark in the Himalayas talking about how their powers work and like how they're on a different level than humanity and they need to be respectful of things, but also like they are still people and they're fallible, and it's like that kind of introspective superheroes just being friends and talking about issues they can only relate to, and it's very clearly a friendship kind of thing. There's no flirtiness going on. It's probably the best Clark and Diana interaction I've seen since the DCAU, to be frank, because the few times I've seen them in comics, it was during the New 52 when they were dating. Um, and so, like, yeah, it's just a really solid conversation between the two of them that ends with Clark having to leave to go help take care of a tsunami, and she's just like, "Yeah, I understand. Go save the day. I got other things I can do." And she's kind of enjoying the starlight for a second, and then all of a sudden she gets absorbed in energy and presumably taken to the future because there's a cold open that is her fighting a bunch of weird monster mashes in the future with vague narration about it being the end of humanity kind of a thing.
Is this in continuity?
I'm not sure. This Wonder Woman looks decidedly older than she looked when I last saw current Wonder Woman, but that has been a little while. It doesn't have like a black label on it or anything, so mm.
Okay.
And it's also from two creators I've never seen before, Stephanie Phillips and Mike Hawthorne, who do a pretty solid job, I think. The art is a tad generic comic book art, but it looks good. It's competently done, and the character writing feels very strong, like I said. And this is the first Wonder Woman book I've really jumped onto ground floor, and I'm not put off yet.
It is
I
in
want to see where
continuity,
this
actually.
goes.
That's good. I like her shoulders. They are muscly
Yeah.
in this cover.
Yeah, she's got great shoulders. I love her face design. This is the most like actually Greek I've ever seen Wonder Woman look.
Yeah. That's the thing with weird European ethnicities that like America just doesn't get. Because in America, yeah, you're all white. We
Yeah.
can it's interchangeable.
Yeah, no, she looks like a middle-aged Greek woman in this, which I kind of she looks like a middle-aged Greek bodybuilder. And I dig that. That's kind of like what I had pitched when we were doing what we would do if we would take over Marvel and DC a few months ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But. What he did, but. So, let's talk about the next book that I read, Moon Knight, issue number 5.
Oh, sick. How's the moon knighting?
Um, he's being really confronted about what being Moon Knight is.
Okay.
Basically, a psychiatrist goes like, "Yeah, you're avoiding things," and he goes like, "I've told you everything about my superhero, about my DID, about all this kind of stuff," and she goes like, "No, you're avoiding why you're being Moon Knight, really." And he dives into the story because people forget Mark Spector is Jewish. He's very Jewish.
I
Um,
had no idea about that, honestly.
yeah, he's the son of a rabbi.
Okay.
He's that Jewish.
So he's literally just Jewish Daredevil then.
Fuck. How can you what? Daredevil is to Catholicism as Moon Knight is to Judaism.
Let's go.
Especially because he points out that he is Moon Knight due to Khonshu, an Egyptian themed god.
Hmm.
And considering the history between ancient Egypt and Judaism, oh my god, why'd you have to point this out?
Now I just want to see Moon Knight say directly to Khonshu, "Let my people go."
God, I can totally see it because he has a cadre of friends that help him often. Oh,
And like again, very off topic, but I just gotta say, like, as an atheist, I love Prince of Egypt. That movie is fantastic.
here's the thing: the Bible stories are interesting and cool. It's just a fandom.
Yeah. No, the Bible is a very it's problematic at times, but it's a really interesting book. It's just the fact that a lot of people think it's real for some reason. It's
But
weird.
basically, he goes on about how growing up he thought his father was weak because he was kind to the community and he was that kind of my dad, he believes in God and he's weak, he wants peace and he's not willing to fight for things. And then he goes like, yeah, but when I died and took Khonshu's deal, I realized how strong he was because he had strength and faith. That he could weather the hard times and still believe in God, while I got hit with one bad time and I immediately folded.
Oof.
You know, it's less about like, oh, faith is good, and it's more of like conviction in one's beliefs.
Okay.
As someone starts planting data and information that the person he helped out in like issue 2, the person with the messed up grandma who he helped out, remember that all those months ago? Um, the person he helped out earlier in the series was actually a former Hydra agent, and the symbolism of Hydra is Nazi. So he's
Yeah.
basically said like, "Hey, Jewish character, you helped a Nazi." Like, there's all that kind of stuff, and he basically goes on this little mystery, finds the dude, and like goes like, "All right, cool, I'm helping you." And the person who kidnapped and did all the things goes like, "Yeah, dude, he's Hydra." And he goes like, "Doesn't matter if he was Hydra. He could have left the organization for years now. I'm helping him now because he needs it." And the dude's sitting there going like, "No, no, fucking get out of here. He's dangerous. You don't do this, Moon Knight." And it's just like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." I know it's probably going to be a controversial thing. We need stories saying like, "Hey, people in organizations and groups that are hateful or harmful, you can get out of it and you can be better."
Yeah, definitely.
We has there is there a GI Joe that is former Cobra and has turned to the Joes?
Fucking Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow? He was Cobra?
Yeah. No, no, no. His whole plot in the original Marvel comics is that he joined Cobra to find out who killed his uncle. And then as soon as he learned it was Zartan, he was like, "All right, I'm switching sides to the Joes and I'm going to make it I'm gonna be buds with Snake Eyes again, and we're gonna make it our life's missions to fucking murder Zartan."
Okay, that's neat. It's
Mhm.
not truly altruistic as I was thinking, like an actual change of heart, but
Yeah.
neat. But it turns out that the person who was given, he was helping out with a case and doing all that kind of stuff, was the person committing the crime all along, and he's a new bad guy called Zodiac.
Hmm. Does he look anything like the Zodiac from WCW?
No, he looks more like Ben Riley Jackal.
Lame.
As a new character, it's fine.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, the book's been Moon Knight's been good. It's been a real good, solid, fun read. If you're interested in Moon Knight, I would suggest this as a starting point. But next, hey, tell me about Aquaman.
This was an okay issue of Aquaman. Didn't blow me away like the others did, but it was still fairly solid. There's a really cool sequence where Jefferson is trying to get transported to the Hall of Justice to get help, and instead he gets transported to an abandoned Titan's Tower. I think it's the Titan's Tower West. Um, and so he's like, "All right, how do I can I just teleport to the Hall of Justice now? What's going on, computer?" And they're like, "There's not enough energy to do that. You'd have to go from here to the Flash Museum to this other place to Happy Harbor to the main Titans Tower to fucking the Hall of Justice, and we can't do it all really quick." Because that could fuck up your molecules. And he's like, I can take it. Let's just do it. And then it like looks like it really hurts. But he fucking takes it because he's a badass superhero. It's one of those cool moments. Um, and then he gets to Titan's Tower and he's going in to get to the teleporter and he's immediately attacked by the Ocean Master looking motherfucker who was beating him up at the start of the last issue. And his mom shows up to help him and the Ocean Master looking person takes off their helmet and it's a woman and she starts taunting the mom and going like, come on, why don't you tell him the truth, why don't you tell him who I am? And I'm like, oh, this is one of those stories. And yes, it's one of those stories. This woman is his sister.
Mm.
Yeah. It's exactly the same thing as giving Dick Grayson a sister a few months ago. I'm like, we'll see where it goes. I'm neither negative nor positive towards it, but like it's a bold decision. Ocean Mistress. That's a good name in the chat hockey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Still enjoying the book though? Well enough?
Yeah, I'm. It didn't piss me off like, oh, I'm gonna drop this now. They're giving fucking Jackson Hyde a sister, but it was one of those like, all right, I guess we'll see where it goes in the next issue.
Yeah. I read X Force.
Did you now?
Yeah. Um, Wolverine's a surf bro.
Sick.
Yeah, you're not wrong with Spider-Man having a sister. I don't mind his
I would
sister.
not. I would not mind Spider-Man having a sister if she did more stuff with him besides just drag him along for adventures every once in a while.
I mean, isn't that what siblings do?
Fair enough.
So Wolverine has found a really cool cove that has really fucking sick, nasty surfs. So he goes to Sage, not Sage, Tech Boy,
Forge.
Forge. He goes to Forge and goes like, "Hey, can you make me a surfboard that won't break?" And he goes like, "Yeah." So he makes a surfboard with a wooden inner covered in adamantium.
Of course.
With adamantium fins, so Wolverine can go surf.
That's the most 90s thing I've heard of Marvel doing in a minute.
The best part is the edge of the surfboard is razor sharp, and Wolverine cut himself on it.
And he's like, this feels good.
No, legit. Oh my god, no, legit. He talks like that about surfing, of like, it's the fucking adrenaline you get when you're on the edge and it's danger.
Wolverine as a surfer dad is so wonderful.
As
I love that
legit,
concept.
Aki, the way Wolverine was talking about the fucking surf. Let me pull up some of these lines. Um,
But no, it does my heart good to know that Wolverine and Shinsuke Nakamura would be friends.
the waves here will scrape a cloud's belly. 50-footers, 70-footers, 100-footers, millions of tons of water. A liquid avalanche never stops when they draw the air and earth shake. It's in violence that you find true paradise. You do your best living when you can taste the dying.
And this has never been like a character trait before, right?
Not as far as I'm aware.
So somebody just really wanted to write about surfing. That's great.
This isn't where you go to swim and play. The waves will mangle you, or the reef will chew you, and a current will rip you out of the open water. You can't even sunbathe here. The pounding and slapping of the waves make the air shake. I asked Sage to do some math for me. A 70-foot wave can do 500 tons of damage to a body. Welcome to the Thresher. There's
The
no
fresher.
there's no better feeling in the world. Beats the best sex or whiskey buzz you'll ever chase. It's like wrestling with the mountain or boxing the sun.
Now I want a Wolverine shirt that just says "Welcome to the Fresher"
Goddamn.
and, and has like his face on it or something.
It was the best thing ever because it's so fun and cheesy and it's so in keeping with Wolverine. But as he does that, he runs into a couple other surfers who have decided to take up the beach and surf Krakoa for a bit. And I'll get back to them in just a second because our B plot is Kid Omega and Phoebe fucking having a little mini date.
Aww.
Because Kid Omega goes like, "Hey, fucking babies are cute. You want to go see some of the babies that are in the nursery, the orphan babies?"
And he's going like,
No,
I'm
no,
not ready to
it's
have
his
that
idea.
conversation.
It's his idea.
Okay.
He
Okay.
takes her to do it, and it's just because it's cute. They're cute babies. And so they hang out, and she goes like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you here?" And he goes like, "Well, this baby here had his mutant powers activated at birth, and they're dangerous powers. So I come here once a week to kind of give him a psychic calm, help him out, because I'm being older and responsible now, and less of a dick. That's been my character growth from the beginning of this comic."
Sick.
Okay, and so they're hanging out, they're playing with the babies, it's all cute. And Phoebe says a line and just goes like, "Yeah, you don't need me as a crutch, you're strong enough to stand on your own." And he looks a little sad, like, "What if I don't want to?" He's like going like, I like being able to rely on you and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Nice.
And then we get to the thing that happened. Um Quentin is sleeping and he gets a mental like, "Yo, hey, come here for a moment." So he astral projects and Phoebe goes, "We need to talk.
Oh dear.
I peeked in your head when we were at the nursery." And he goes like, "I thought we agreed private." And she was like, "Yeah, but this was pretty loud." And it was Quentin imagining them having a baby.
Oh.
And he goes like, "It was a daydream. It was, I don't want that right now." And she goes like, "Yes, I know it was a daydream, but it scared me. It's too
no.
much. You want too much. You love too much. You're too much in every way and Omega through and through. What are you saying? I need some space. Physically, mentally, a break." A break?
Fuck, man.
You sent your astral projection to break up with me? My greatest commitment will always be my sister's, Quentin. As Quentin is crying into his pillow.
We can't have none of the cuckoos being happy.
No, not necessarily none of the cuckoos. Also, we can't have Quentin being happy and growing as a person and being better. God, but it's gonna be good storytelling.
That sucks, bro. I'm not looking forward to getting to that.
But also, all those surfers that were there hanging out with Wolverine earlier, they're actually here to kidnap mutant power babies to sell on the black market.
Oh, sick.
Or, like, for government or something. But yeah, they're just kidnapping babies.
Also, since we're on the topic of current X-Men, somebody on the Marvel Legends subreddit posted what they think would be a realistic expectation for a Dawn of X wave. And I kind of agree with it. It's Quentin Quire, Kid Cable, Betsy Captain Britain, Smart Beast, frickin' Richter. We were just talking about her, Sage, and Gambit in his new costume.
Nice.
Because that allows for a fair bit of reuse and new characters.
That's actually not bad. Which Quentin did they say New costume Quentin or old costume Quentin?
They posted a picture of old costume Quentin, but I could imagine Hasbro going either way. Like they could do new costume Quentin in that wave, and then come back and do a classic Quentin as like a Walgreens exclusive or a retro card release.
Yeah, because he has the same head style. And I could see giving him two different accessories, one with regular glasses, one with psychic glasses.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, uh, from one water rage animal to another water rage animal, tell me about Jeff.
It's Jeff was pretty cute this week, as it always is. It's about Jeff getting his own doghouse. He wakes up from a nap, and Kate has put a nice little doghouse with his name on it in the living room. And he goes to check it out. He sniffs it, and he walks away a little displeased for a second. And Kate's like, "Oh no, he doesn't like it." But then he comes back with a Deadpool blanket and plushes of Lockjaw and Devil Dinosaur and a big plate of chicken. He sets it all up, and then he asks Kate to come in and take a look. And she's like, "Oh wow, this is really nice." And he shoves her in there and puts a picture of a hawk over where his name was. And he's like, "It's your house now. I get the rest of the house."
Oh,
Because Jeff's a little shit.
I also love the Snoopy reference for the cover.
Yeah, this is real good.
Nice. Um, X Force. No, not X Force. Sword.
Sword!
So the
Don't
last.
fucking touch swords!
So the last issue of Sword, we got the reveal that WizKid was a double agent for Orcus Project.
Oh no, not Whiz Kid.
He is a technopath, one of the most powerful technopaths, Japanese paraplegic.
Okay.
Okay, that's the basic idea of the character. And so this whole book is focused on, it's through WizKid's perspective. It's about WizKid. It's his story. Okay? So I'm gonna pull it up because it's easier to mention what's going on in it. So we see his early morning as he's getting up and getting ready and dealing with being paraplegic and getting into his wheelchair and everything and all that kind of stuff. Our housing's that big bulky Professor X style mutant cultural aesthetics. Professor X is walking now. I'm not. Kind of like I don't need to be healed, you know. Walk from back to civilization from the forest. Good job, Aki. Enjoy your
Proud
hike.
of you, Aki. Way to go.
Um, all this kind of stuff. You know, as we see Storm finishing off a fight from the last issue, all that kind of jazz. As we continue following WizKid as he comes up to Cable and goes like, he's the son of Cyclops, which makes him mutant royalty, which got him promoted to position when he wasn't ready for it. Then, as he's talking about Kid Cable, and now he liked how, and he was like, Kid Cable came to me honestly and asked for help, and was like being genuine, and he like liked that because people look at him weird because he's in a wheelchair, and people looked at him weird because he was a mutant, you know. And he was like that. And he says, since he's come back, his future self, he's more confident, but he still looks at me the same way as someone to respect and listen to. It hurts to betray that memory, but well, that's the plan. You know? And so he goes through this whole plan to get Cable out of the way, and he takes control of Cable's robot arm so he can decapacitate him, and so he can hack into the system and get all the information they need and all that jazz, and send it to a certain way and blow up Sword. That's the idea, blow up Sword. As everybody's getting out into the escape bays, all that kind of stuff. We then see WizKid at Orcus, and he's going like, "Yeah, no, I did the thing," and he goes like, and the dude who's in control goes like, "Hey, why did you betray Krakoa like this?" And WizKid gives the explanation. Let's just say I don't see humans and mutants as all that different, Mr. Greenwich. Xavier and Magneto, they brought in Apocalypse to save the show, to run the show. Mr. Survival of the Fittest himself. That's where the grand experiment is heading. As far as I'm concerned, their whole island can burn to the ground. Which, you know what? Fair enough for a dude who's paraplegic.
Yeah.
And basically, He goes, when he asks, even all this wasn't enough for to truly prove myself. Of course he wants to figure me out. Everyone does. And that's been a running line through it. And he goes like, he says the line about Krakoa can burn to the ground. Good. And for the record, that's exactly what I thought you would say. Yeah, I know. That's why I said it. And then, in a different text color, well, he bought it. Triple Agent unlocked.
Hmm.
He didn't betray Krakoa. He's being a double agent and getting into Orcus so they can get information.
Sick.
Because we see another color box, which is green, which is Abigail Brand's color. And he goes, and he goes on this line: mutants and humans really aren't that different. We're all Earthers, citizens of the Sol system. If we think we can bring everybody up to where we are, drag them here if we have to, is that arrogant? Should we learn humility? As he's talking to Abigail Brand, technopathy. I dig it, and I'm not worried. They're looking for what they're looking for what they understand. They still don't get it. We make technology out of plants, out of mutants combining their powers. We can make technology out of anything. Remember, he's a technopath. As long as it's considered technology, he can control it. So he's got a massive power upgrade recently. Make technology out of anything, out of the particles in the air. Even so, let's remember to be humble, Taki. After all, it's not mutants who invented the Pym particle, as Abigail Brand has a tiny little jetpack and is floating right by his head. It was just really fucking... because I was worried, because I really like and enjoy the character, you know? I was going like, oh no, are they turning him a bad guy? That sucks. But he's like, nah, he's ultimate good guy. He's sacrificing... But I need to tell you about Shang-Chi.
How was Shang-Chi?
Okay, last issue, they were dealing with the Cosmic Cube, and Shang-Chi thought he gave it to Captain America to deal with in the Avengers and all that, but his brother went like, nah, bitch, fuck them. Why should they have control over us? We should be able to control ourselves. And he kept the Cosmic Cube. They did a switcheroo. And in this issue, they're all hanging out at their family at their house, and the Avengers show up, and Spider-Man show up, and the Fantastic Four show up, and go like, Shang-Chi, give us the Cosmic Cube. We don't want you to be evil. And Shang-Chi goes like, I gave you the Cosmic Cube. What are y'all doing here? Shang-Chi, don't do this to us. We don't want to do this to you. Because we brought the big guns, and Thor dropped down.
Oof.
And he goes like, you don't want to fight a god. And Shang-Chi goes like, no, but I feel like I have to. Bring me the magic sword we found in the previous issues. Here's the magic sword, brother. And he unlocks it, and he becomes like a Chinese fucking god of thunder. I think it may have been mentioned in the story, but like he's another like god of thunder and lightning kind of thing. And those cool. So Thor and Shang-Chi start dueling. Blah, 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 blah. Shang-Chi's sword flown away, put in the ground, and Thor goes like, all right, you're unarmed, surrender. And he goes like, and he does like a little thing with his hand, and it teleports back to his hand. And Shang-Chi goes like, yeah, that was faster than it should have been. He holds the sword and goes, I want Mjolnir to melt. And Mjolnir starts melting. And he looks to Cap and goes, I think we found their Cosmic Cube. He hid it as the sword. And so he hands the Cosmic Cube to Captain America and goes, why'd you do this? And he basically goes, Westerners shouldn't have control over us as a family. This is bullshit. You're towing under them. And he just looks at them and goes like, take my brother away. And the rest, and like his younger sister is like pissed off at him. His mom kind of understands and goes like, she'll learn all this stuff. And that's where the issue ends. Of like, Shang-Chi basically having to be a good guy and stop his brother from being a bad guy.
Does he ever fix Mjolnir?
Oh yeah, no, it's fixed right after that. He was
Okay.
just doing that to confirm it was a cosmic cube.
I was like, oh shit, they just broke Mjolnir and walked right past it.
No, no, no. Um, hold on. Let me get back to the issue and like tell you exactly kind of how it happened because this big old cool fight was really good. Um, basically, we were the ones who tracked it. We traded a society's reputation to get invited to auctions. How could we betray all our efforts and hand the cube over to them? Not to mention what you did to our host. All that kind of stuff. So choose Supreme Commander right now, them or us. I choose neither. I choose truth. The Cosmic Cube is one of the most dangerous weapons in the universe. All that kind of stuff. They take his brother away. And Spider-Man goes like, I knew I could always trust you. I mean, our friend, like, everyone else might not. Because Reed goes like, how do we know he didn't give up his brother just to cover him? We don't. Ooh, ambiguity with Shang-Chi.
Mm.
Which they probably will play with for the fact that his sister is leader of the Ten Rings in the movies.
Yeah.
As that's how it ends. It's there's a cool bad guy with I don't remember what the creature is called in actual mythology. All I know is the it's the dragon horse from Shang-Chi and the magic place that they were in.
Okay.
So a dude shows up with up Link is too powerful. Dude shows up with one of those horses. He looks cool. He looks badass. And he's going to be the bad guy for the next Shang-Chi series because they're going to be doing another one in a month or two.
Hooray! I might jump on for that.
Oh, no, it's not in a month or two. It's next month.
Okay. I
Yeah,
might
yeah,
jump on for that.
yeah, next month.
They're just full on Eternalsing him right now.
Yeah. Because
Sick.
it's been a good book. It's been a good, solid read. So,
Nice.
why don't you tell us about Superman, son of Kal-El?
Yeah. Okay, so this is the issue that got the whole internet pissed off a few weeks ago because oh god, Superman is bi or gay
Bye.
or
It was confirmed by like
yeah.
articles.
Yeah. And me watching the internet get pissed off is what made me fucking unfollow a shit ton of people on Twitter that week. Um I'll say
I remember that week. You were happy that week because you didn't have to see shit anymore.
yeah, I'm still happy. My Twitter is still pretty sparse. I've followed a few people, a few more people since then, but we're still pretty sparse. But anyways, I'll admit when the news came out, my reaction was basically like, I don't mind John enjoying some dick, but like I was thinking it was gonna be Damien's if it was gonna be anybody's. So the fact that it's this new guy is a little weird to me, and also makes me flash back to mid 2000s Supergirl when they did that plot, a plot of like a new character with powers coming in, them dating for like 2 issues, and then that character becoming a villain for her twice during the mid 2000s. It was like, is that what's happening here? I don't know. But Taylor really impressed me with this issue because the impetus for the kiss is really interesting. Because if you remember at the start of the or the end of the last issue, John went to confront Henry Bendix and he hit him with a ray that basically just like overloaded his superpowers. It made it so he can hear and see everything in the world all at once, more so than he normally can. Like he can't control it and tune stuff out like he normally can, and he has to go and basically try to save everyone all at once. So, like, at the beginning of the issue, he's like, okay, there's a little girl lost here, there's a tsunami here, there's an overloaded hospital here, I have to go deal with all these things. But first, the guy who was on, who has fire powers from the start of the book, who was having his powers get overloaded last issue, let's follow up with a plot, Fred. We're gonna grab him and we're gonna take him to Wally West and say, "Hey, Flash, can you help this guy? I hear you have you have access to Star Labs." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I got it." Um, so then he goes and saves a bunch of people from a town that's being flooded in Luxembourg in a really cool depiction of super speed. He goes and stops some people in Zimbabwe from being kidnapped. He helps a little girl in Costa Rica find her parents. stops a hospital, redistributes patients for a few key hospitals in Metropolis because one was getting really overloaded. Uh, and it's in one of those really cool comic book moments where it's like, this is an awesome image, but it would never work with real world physics. He's just carrying an entire bridge filled with ambulances through the sky. Um, but when he finishes doing that, that's when his powers start to get the better of him. And even one of the doctors is like, Superman, do you want to come inside? You look like you're in a pretty bad way there. And he's like, no, no, I just got to keep going. I got to keep going. So he does a couple more things. And then eventually, one of the superpowered characters that we met last issue, who I think is a pre-established character, but I've never fucking heard of him before. They have weird, like, green angel wings, is like, hey, Jay told me to come and get you. He said you're overworking yourself and you need to take a break. And so Superman goes to Jay's apartment, and there's a funny moment where Jay meets him on the fire escape, but then just walks through the wall to get inside. And so it's a funny moment where Superman can't get inside as fast as someone else, and he's like, "You're just walking through walls?" And he's like, "Why not? I can face through pretty much anything." And he's like, "Oh, right on." Um, and so they have a little chat about everything that's going on and all he's been doing and how they're going to get back at Bendix for this. And eventually, he just gives John noise canceling headphones and is like, take a nap. And he does, and he's like, okay, how long was I out for? Uh, about 9 hours. And John's like, seriously? He's like, yeah, you needed it. And they start talking about things too about how the powers are dissipating. It feels quieter. Um, and he's like, "Thanks for looking out for me." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I figure I don't. You don't really need to look out for me, so I should look out for you." And he's like, "How do you figure that? Nothing can hurt me. I can phase through anything. I'm the one person you don't have to worry about." And that's when they kiss.
Hmm.
And it makes the impetus for that relationship make a lot of sense, in my opinion, because at the start it seemed like a friend relationship, but like I've always kind of had the idea in my head, especially with Kara, that like the supers would have this thing of like, I want to be in a relationship, but I'm like, more so than any other superhero, I think it's justified. I'm worried about hurting the other person because I'm indestructible. I'll probably live longer than most humans, and I'm living in a world made out of cardboard. I don't want to hurt another person unintentionally. Um, and like I told you earlier, I had an idea for a Supergirl run that would give her an actual healthy relationship. I was thinking, reveal that somebody else, the meteor that gave Vandal Savage his immortality, somebody else got to that meteor, but they're like good guy Vandal Savage. It's like a Highlander type thing, and they have a healing factor, and they can live forever. So Supergirl can't hurt them, doesn't have to worry about them getting hurt. That kind of a thing. And this is a very similar concept, so it was cool seeing it executed. Um, and it just basically ends with them going like, okay, so is this gonna be a thing? I guess so, but we can't really think about it because I gotta go. I hear another problem happening. And that's where we're left off. It's a solid issue. I don't think, outside of just gay panic, doesn't deserve all the hubbub it got, but
If they
it was
made
good.
if they made the other character a girl, no one would have an issue.
Yeah, basically.
It's just because he is cis and a man.
I've never heard of Immortal Man Aki. Is that a DC character? I'll have to look him up.
No, he Immortal Man is Marvel. No, it's
Okay.
Mr. Immortal. Mr. Immortal is the guy from Marvel.
Let me look up Immortal Man. Oh yeah, this is a DC character, and it looks like he's had fairly recent books. I might
But
have to read into this guy.
but but,
Uh,
but in the meantime, join the book.
yeah, it's solid. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find out about this guy and if he's a dickhead or not, and if I can still submit this fucking pitch to DC.
Tell me about Power Rangers.
This issue of Power Rangers is pretty neat because it's a lot of fighting. Like basically the Omega Rangers get back to their base on the planet they've been building a colony on, and they're like, "Oh God, that was a that was a fucking experience. Let's never do that again." Oh, hey, bird alien friends, do you are you're like a mentor figure now. That's cool, I guess. Oh, the new the new Blue Ranger is basically a space cat. That's even cooler, I guess. All right. Um, why do we have 28 missed calls from Tommy? Oh shit, there's an alien invasion going on. Guess we gotta go to Earth. And then there's a lot of like cool dialogue through fight scenes of them showing up to help at the invasion of Promethea, or the Battle of Promethea, I should say. And some neat moments of just like character interplay and whatnot. And the Omega Rangers showing up is a really cool moment, especially with some of them interacting with some of the newer characters. Like there's a great moment where Zach and Matt run into each other, and Zach is like, "Hey, hey, awesome, awesome timing. Thanks for the save, new Green Ranger." And Matt takes off his helmet for a second. And it's like, "Hey, Zach, how's it going, man?" And Zach's like, "What the fuck? When did you become a Ranger?"
Yeah.
Uh, but ultimately, the forces are too strong for all the Rangers combined because they pull in the Imperials, and they start wrecking the shit out of Promethea, so everybody has to retreat. They go to the tunnels underneath the command center where they find Goldar, Squat, Babu, Finster, and some putties. We're skulking around looking for something. And they've bumped into Billy and Alpha, and they're like, "All right, everybody in the portal, let's go." Oh, and they're like, "Why?" Because the Imperials just blew up Promethea and the Moon Palace with Zed inside,
Mm.
and they're about to blow this place up. And that's the ending of the book: is the Imperials arrive with Zartus, and they blow the fuck out of the command center, and it's basically, it ends with Zartus saying, "In the name of peace and justice, I hereby claim the planet Earth for the Eltarian Empire. May the power protect it." And so that is where we are left off. The next issue of Mighty Morphin is probably going to be everybody regrouping and figuring out how they're going to get the upper hand on Zartus.
Nice. But overall, good week for comics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we. I don't. Do you want to tell people where you're from?
Hi, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make videos about tokusatsu and shit. You can find me on YouTube at the Vacuuminator. You can find me on Twitter at the Vacuuminator. You can find me on Instagram at the Vacuuminator.
I just left it there for a moment.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to see video essays I make? Boingo Writer on YouTube. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Boingo underscore writer. On Instagram, Boingo underscore writer. TikTok under Boingo underscore writer. Yeah. Um, go follow me on twitch.tv/Boingo Writer. See streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. No, just like Linkara doesn't make videos about lamps.
No, I have not. I should do that for an April Fool's Day at some point though.
Um, And, as always, you can follow this YouTube channel, Modular Media No Price Podcast, for podcasts galore, including this one, MMWP, where we talk about professional wrestling components, where we talk about everything else, and the final one, tell them about it.
This Week in Toku, or Twit, with myself and Buster Corp, is a show where each and every week we talk about anything and everything from the world of live action Japanese special effects, including news and new releases.
Hells bells. In the meantime, you can like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Do all the stuff. Ring the bell. Blah, algorithm. Do you have any final words, Vac?
I'm going to go back in time and yell at Jack Kirby for stealing my Supergirl pitch, and then I'm going to go forward in time and apologize to Tom Taylor for calling him Tom King.
Nice.
That's my homework for this week.
Enough said.